Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. The Supreme Court dealing a blow to New York's concealed carry law. The court ruled 6-3 that New York's concealed carry statute that requires a gun owner to establish proper cause in order to obtain a license violates the Constitution by preventing law-abiding citizens from exercising their Second Amendment. New York courts defined proper cause to require applicants to show a special need to defend themselves and not that they just wanted to protect themselves. Governor Hochul reacted to the ruling, calling it a shocking ruling and a, quote, dark day.
Shocking. Absolutely shocking. That they have taken away our right to have reasonable restrictions. We can have restrictions on speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. But somehow there's no restrictions allowed on the Second Amendment. This is New York. We don't back down. We fight back.
The ruling is expected to affect similar laws in 7 other states. It was 50 years ago today that floodwaters from Hurricane Agnes devastated many parts of the southern tier. Big Fox's Maggie Hall had a chance to speak exclusively with a survivor of that flood that hit Steuben County.
On June 23, 1972, when Hurricane Agnes brought raging floodwaters to Steuben County, Tracy Evans was only 9 years old. Now 50 years later, this survivor shared what it was like when the waters were rising and she had to leave her hometown of Campbell.
We come into Corning, coming across Patterson Bridge, and we can see that the river is high, but it was still within its levels. Our cousins lived on 3rd Street. We all went to bed that night with nothing out of the ordinary happening in Corning, and we all woke up the following morning to water on 2nd Street. Yeah. We ended up being stranded in Corning for close to 3 weeks, I guess.
Some others affected by the flood of 72 were forced to seek refuge at the Corning Museum of Glass.
This time I'm told by people who survived that day and their families that people were evacuated onto the roof of the museum to safety.
Carol Ann Fabian is the Director of Collections and Curatorial Affairs at the Corning Museum of Glass. It, too, was hit hard by the flood.
A wall of water over 5 feet came crashing into the galleries here. If you look behind me, you'll be able to see the top of this blue line here. That is actually the water line from the flood that happened in these same galleries in 1972.
The junior curator's goals for this exhibition was for visitors to come away learning about how glass in our collection survived the flood, revealing both glass's fragility but also its strength.
The exhibition features several objects from the Hurricane Agnes flood of 1972, one of them being a bead portfolio from Venice dating back to the 19th century.
You can see the severe water damage, and most of the book is still heavily coated in what we like to call flood mud, the silt from the river that just got all over everything, and that was one of the main things that needed to be cleaned off on all of the objects in the collection.
The museum has launched a special exhibit called Past Present. Part of this exhibit is a piece that displays the damage of the flood, a reverse painting on glass of the nation's first president.
And we see, as we look at the portraits of the painting, 2 versions. Those are high-resolution copies of the painting that's sitting on the cart. And you'll see just below the shoulders of George Washington a gray, murky line and everything below it kind of obscured. That is the flood line.
A flood line that 50 years later stands as a permanent reminder of just how bad it was in June of 1972, when Hurricane Agnes caused so much damage and disrupted the lives of so many people, like Tracy Evans.
And by the time we were actually able to get out of Corning, Mom and Dad drove around some of the back side streets just to see what the devastation was. There were several houses, probably at least 3 homes I remember seeing, had been ripped off the foundation, one of which had been toppled over and was laying outside in the middle of the street. But along with that was a lot of debris. I mean, goopy, smelly mud everywhere. Clothing and pillows and blankets children's toys.
It took years for our area to erase the damage caused by the flood of '72, but the memories of how devastating it was remain to this day. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Corning.
The first class of the Guthrie Emergency Medicine Residency Program graduated today. To honor this milestone, Guthrie welcomed a special guest speaker. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg was there.
Graduates of Guthrie's Emergency Medicine Residency Program learned how to reach for the stars at today's commencement ceremony. Jared Isaacman was the guest speaker for the ceremony. Isaacman was the commander for Inspiration 4, the world's first all-civilian mission to space.
Normally, whenever I have an opportunity like this, I'm trying to motivate people to become astronauts. Probably not a good idea after this round of training to do that.
Isaacman is also the CEO of Shift 4 Payments, a company that helps businesses across the world send and make payments efficiently.
The fact that there is very real medical implications to 100% of people on orbit, and that brings the medical professional, I think, into maybe one of the most interesting arenas for contributing to future human spaceflight.
Behind me is Sayre Theater, the location for tonight's commencement ceremony. The graduating students will be the first of Guthrie's new Emergency Medicine Residency Program. The ceremony will welcome in a new class of highly trained medical professionals into our local communities.
Guthrie has provided the region with medical care for over 125 years. Over the last few years, Guthrie has almost doubled its medical programs and learning residents.
This is the first folks that stabilize, treat, take care of critically ill patients. We are thrilled to have them here and to have this program here. It's going to be really, really important to everybody.
Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Sayre.
The commencement ceremony wasn't the only action on the Guthrie campus today. Blankets and arts and crafts kits were donated today to Guthrie Robert Packer Hospital Cancer Center by Williams Subaru. The donation serves as a symbol of community support to the patients who are fighting the disease. The campaign is the result of a partnership between Subaru and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
We see patients bring them in at every treatment visit. We see them take them home. So it's really important to the community and to our patients.
The blankets really do bring a lot of warmth to the patients, and it's like a big hug for them.
This June, the campaign will deliver more than 40,000 blankets and nearly 10,000 arts and craft kits with messages of hope written by local community members. Juul is going up in smoke. The FDA ordering Juul Labs to stop selling its vape devices and cartridges. The move comes nearly 2 years after Juul applied for approval to keep selling e-cigarettes in the country. Juul has been a market leader among e-cigarette and vaping companies and has been blamed for vaping's popularity with kids and teenagers. The company had limited its marketing and stopped selling fruity flavors in 2019. A woman gets out of a hostage situation in New York City by submitting a GrubHub order. The woman placed this order to the Chipper Truck Cafe in Yonkers around 5 a.m. Sunday. The order included additional instructions to call police. The message had a lot of typos, but when employees called the cafe's owner, he knew what to do.
The main thing was call the police. That's what they called the attention to me and said, just call the police, cancel the order, and don't send any food. Give the address to the cops, and then can do whatever they have to do. And that's what we did.
The 24-year-old woman who placed the order was in the Bronx. Police showed up and arrested a 32-year-old man who is charged with multiple crimes, including rape and unlawful imprisonment. Your complete forecast is next. Plus, a look at a new brain-scanning headset that measures a person's emotions as they test out perfumes. More behind the new tech coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox.
Opioid overdoses, the #1 killer of Americans ages 18 to 45, isn't slowing down its deadly rampage. And police say there is a rise of a more dangerous substance, fentanyl. Mills Hayes is in Montana, where state law enforcement say drug cartels are specifically targeting more rural areas.
Montana Highway Patrol troopers have already seized 3 times the amount of fentanyl pills off the roads this year than they did the entire year of 2021. These opioids are used to treat severe pain, but now some people are using them to get high, something that's proving to be a death sentence for many. Marla Ollinger's son moved back to the Blackfeet Indian Reservation in Montana during the COVID-19 pandemic.
My son was great. He was a good friend. He was a great brother.
But by January of this year, something had changed.
He was withdrawn. Something told me I was never going to see my son again.
Ollinger was right. Her 33-year-old son, Justin Lee Little Dog, died March 7th of a fentanyl overdose.
I feel that I have lost a big, huge part of me, and I fight for that daily. I lost my child. He made me a mother.
It's a statewide issue.
Since 2020, our crime lab confirmed fentanyl deaths have increased 1,100%.
Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen says Mexican drug cartels crossing the southern border are targeting Montana.
Because they know they can make tremendous profits here, selling a product that costs them next to nothing to make.
He says a blue M30 tablet would sell for $10 to $15 in Phoenix, Denver, or Salt Lake City, but in Montana, up to $100 since it's further from the border. Dr. Robert Sherrick is the chief medical officer for a company that has 4 opioid treatment centers in Montana.
Somewhere around 70% of our patients who come in with an opioid use disorder or more are either testing positive for fentanyl or report that they're using it. If someone has a serious addiction to opioids, whether it's fentanyl or any other opioid, that they really need to get into treatment. They need to get on medication.
Dr. Sherrick says that fentanyl can be so addictive that there is a lower rate of people successfully completing treatment in comparison to any other opioid. In Missoula, Montana, Mills Hayes, Fox News.
The Phoenix Fire Department launching a new set of drones to help them in emergencies. The drones will act like an extra pair of eyes in the skies to help them battle fires or in search and rescue operations. Bailey Miller has more.
Flying high over the city, Phoenix Fire Department showing us the deployment of their new drone operations.
This is the future, and this is what we need to be a part of.
Phoenix Fire now has 3 drones and 9 FAA certified pilots that will work together with the incident management system on active incidents. The technology will allow the fire crews to identify any potential hazards on their calls.
We often respond with very little information. What a drone does is a great information gatherer, so it lets us realize with a 360-degree aerial view what are some of the obstacles that are currently at the emergency scene.
This will also be a game changer for crews as they conduct search and rescues.
It's going to take out and it's going to find those folks a mile from that trailhead. Then we know that where we need to send our folks. Or right before this drone program, the model was firefighters, 4 of them at this point, 4 of them at this point, 4 of them at this point. Let's converge on this desert to try to find them, wasting the resources. And it's hot and our folks are carrying packs. Now I think the drones will get out there, do some reconnaissance and tell us what's there.
The drones allow for efficiency, which will reduce rescue times and will help them save lives.
Not only cost effective, but our service delivery is going to improve.
This robot can make mojitos. The machine, created by the Sausalito Bar, one of Germany's largest cocktail chains, and Inoris Robotics AG, is meant to help bars with the current worker shortages. The 2-armed robot is the first of its kind to be installed and can mix a mojito cocktail. The innovative device is currently being used at one of the Sausalito's locations in southern Germany. Staff are hoping to get feedback and will consider how they can continue using the robot in the future. Coming up, a gadget that could take the guesswork out of buying perfume or cologne. If you have trouble making decisions when you go shopping, brain scanning technology could be the answer. Ted Lindner has a look at how one beauty company's latest device is reinventing the way we shop for fragrances.
When it comes to smelling fragrances, you may think your nose knows which one you prefer, but your brain could actually hold the secrets to unlocking which scent you like best. And luxury giant Yves Saint Laurent could help you tap into that knowledge with its new brain scanning headset.
And it measures emotions when you smell different fragrance chords, and it tells you what makes you happy, stressed, confident.
Before the magic starts, customers are asked to complete a quick survey to identify various scent profiles they enjoy and how they want their fragrance to make them feel.
It is part of the future of shopping.
Using that data, a computer algorithm then chooses 6 separate ingredients clients can begin smelling, with the headset monitoring their brain waves as they inhale and react to each one.
It's not that bad. The recommendation worked for me.
The emotional responses measured by the headset are analyzed and used to determine which perfumes will suit the customer best.
There is a 96% accuracy in terms of fragrance recommendation and consumer satisfaction.
Still, some users remain a little skeptical of the process.
In the end, I am not convinced by the 3 selected fragrances, but the first and last ones match my taste more or less.
Curious for yourself? The personalized perfume technology is expected to launch later this year at YSL flagship stores around the world. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
For those looking for a family film in theaters this week, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On could be just the adventure you're looking for. Co-creator and voice actor Jenny Slate joined Ashley Dvorkin for a preview.
Hi everybody, it's Marcel.
Marcel the Shell with Shoes On began his journey in viral YouTube clips, then books.
What is it like to see this little creation of yours now have his big screen moment?
It's a pretty dreamy time for sure. Marcel is so precious to those of us that made the film, and to see him be received in such a friendly way, it's just really nice. It feels like an example of goodness.
Marcel is co-created by Jenny Slate and Dean Fleischer Camp, with Slate voicing Marcel and Isabella Rossellini as Nana Connie. The movie follows a filmmaker who puts Marcel in the spotlight while searching for his family. The little shell's big self-confidence is part of a range of emotions Slate wanted for audiences of all ages.
I think a lot of times children are just offered what adults think will be the easiest to throw at them, you know, something like super duper duper cute or something really, really, really loud. And I think that's cool. And I think we have that in our movie, all of those things. But I also know that as a person in my very start of my life to, you know, right now, I've always needed proof that I am allowed to connect to a broad spectrum of emotions.
Do you think they could be out there?
And he brings a sweet message too.
It's a sign of life that things continue to evolve and change, and that accepting that can be really hard and scary, but that it is worth it.
Would you hope for more adventures for him?
Oh, for sure.
There must be so many others like me.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
We'll have more news coming up right after this.
The Best in Show winner is the Bloodhound.
We want to leave you with a smile. And it was a historic night at the Westminster Dog Show. Trumpet is the first bloodhound ever to win Best in Show, beating out 6 other finalists to claim the coveted prize. The competition started with more than 3,000 dogs, and Best in Show goes to the dog that most represents the ideal for its breed. Trumpet's handler says he's a goofball with a lot of attitude, and he's a little crazy. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. I'm Anne Emanuel. I hope you have a good rest of your day.